Hi, Sam here from Twice Upon a Dream. I just thought you might want to join me again to do another page from my scrapbook. Let's go.
So here we have my page that we're going to start with. Today it's going to be a day that we went to Epcot, so it's probably going to be quite a big one. It's probably going to take up both sides of this, so I'm going to do them both very different. The first one I'm going to start with the map as the base of the background, but the second one I am not going to have a background, I don't think. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stick the park map onto the page just as a little background for all my photographs. I do this using one of these little tape gun type things that gives you a nice little sticky edge, and make sure it goes up to the edge, because that's where it's going to kick up. If it's going to kick up anywhere, it's going to be on the edge. So I tend to just make sure I have quite a good sticky base, and then I take a look at the map and decide which part of the map I would like. And I think I'd like the one with with Spaceship Earth on it, so I'm going to use this part of the map as the base, and then it's just a matter of pressing it down, and then I'll go ahead and cut around the page so it's the right size. Okay, so we now have this finished. This little edge is bothering me a little bit now, but it's not going to, because I'm going to be going around the edge, giving it a little trim anyway. And today I've decided to use this washi tape because it's got the Skyliner on it, and of course you can get the Skyliner to Epcot, so it seems like quite an appropriate one to use. So I'm going to trim all the edges with this. And just allow it to kick over the edge a little bit so it gives us something to grab onto. And we go around all the edges like this. And there we are. And once we've taped around all the edges, I'd just like to make sure the corners meet nicely, so just pull off any excess from the top. I do a diagonal cut in the corner. I'll try and show you on this one. If you do a diagonal from there over to there, that means you can take off the top piece, and the little bit that I left overhanging, take off the bottom piece, and then the corners will meet, and you'll have a really nice corner without any overlap. So yeah, I do that on all the corners. Just have to be careful you don't cut too far through, because obviously you don't want to cut the actual page that you're working on. So there you go. That is the page with the edging now done. Again, I'm not too worried about this white bit here, because I'm sure it'll be covered up as I go on. I haven't really got a plan. I tend to not have too much of a plan, really. I just get my pictures and decide where I think that they will look nice. So this is me on the Skyliner, so I would start with that, because that's as we head out for the day. This is me and my daughter wearing ridiculous hats, and her walking around the park with her ridiculous hat on. And here we are sat in a little clamshell, and again my daughter peeping around her clamshell, and then us on Guardians of the Galaxy. So that would be where I would like my pictures to be. Now sometimes I round the edges of my pictures with this little tool that gives you a nice round edge. Other times I will give them a fancy edge with maybe something like this that gives you a lace trim. I also have a selection of scissors here with all different blades, different shapes. So yeah, just basically have a look at the pictures and see what I think will look best. I feel like this one would be nice with a lace edge, the one of my daughter in the clamshell. So I will go ahead and punch a nice lace edge on that one. we go. As I said in my last vlog, I don't know if you saw the last vlog, these photographs are printed out on a little sprocket, like a sticker printer. Quite tough to get through with these tools, but they're ideal for this sort of thing because they are just sticky backed, so you can just peel the backing off and stick them down. So yeah, I'm going to give these ones a little rounded edge. I think I'll select a little shape from the scissors and go ahead and just put a nice little edge on that one. Like I say, sometimes it's nice to mix it up and have them all different. Sometimes I have them matching, depends how I'm feeling on the day. But yeah, basically I just like to experiment a little bit with all these different scissors and different edgings. Sometimes I go all the way around, sometimes I just do one edge, sometimes I do two. Depends how I'm feeling. It's just nice to have a little bit of variety, and it makes it look more scrapbooky. I don't like things to look too orderly or too organised. I like things to look a little bit of a mess. I'll just round the corners, I think, of this one. And again, sometimes if I didn't have much room to fill, I would trim this down to this, but as it is, I've got plenty of room for my pictures on this page. Might have a little bit less on the next page, which will be on the back of this picture. Sorry, on the back of this page. So yeah, I'm punching the corners of this one to give it a nice rounded shape. And I feel like now I've got all the photographs looking the way I want them to look. Just clean up a little bit of the mess here. So yeah, that's how I want all my photographs to look. I'm chuffed with that, so I will go ahead now, peel the backing off. The backing just peels off, and then just pop them on the page. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick all the others. Okay, so that's all my pictures stuck on now. As you can see, this white edge that I found so offensive to start with is starting to disappear, and it will gradually I'll fill little gaps in and you won't even notice it. Normally when I'm doing my scrapbooking, I don't know what you guys like to do when you're doing it, but when I'm doing my scrapbooking, I normally put a Disney vlog on or something to watch in the background, so I can not only reminisce about my latest trip, but I can also get excited for my next one, which is yeah, it's just nice to have something on in the background. I've got these two little cutouts that I'm going to include on my page, one of Spaceship Earth and the other one is Epcot and the Spaceship Earth off a little map, and these are handy just to fill in any little gaps you've got where you feel like you just want something, a little bit of interest in there. So I will put a little bit of sticky on the back, and I'm going to pop that one on the corner because that corner's just kicking up a little bit, and that will just secure it and stick it down. This one I think I'm going to save for the next page because I've got a little jellyfish here that I cut off some packaging. Don't know whether you can see that. There you go. And I feel like that's very appropriate because my daughter's got the daft little jellyfish hat on. So I am going to stick that on here too. I also have these stickers which have got the icons from the parks on, so I'm going to take another Spaceship Earth, yet another one because you can't have too many icon. There she is. And then we will look for some appropriate words. Adventure awaits you. These lovely little sheets, I use these quite a lot just to sort of put in anything that I think is appropriate for what we're doing at the time. There's one there that says I love you, and I think that would be a nice one for my daughter and her fella, hand in hand in the park. And maybe celebrate, because we are celebrating the awesome day. So that page is nearly finished. This is it's come together really quickly, this one. I feel like I'm just going to give the edge a nice trim, and I've got this sticky back diamante, which I'm just going to trim the edge of the pages with, just to give it a little finishing touch, and then I'll be turning over and doing the other side, which is going to be completely different to this one. Sometimes I like to do that. I like them to look very random. Don't like anything to look too uniform or too planned out. So yeah, basically I just mix it up, make sure that every page has its own little vibe going on. So yeah, I'll just continue to go around the edge with this, and I will be back once it's done. So yeah, that's finished. Now obviously this looks like this page has been done super quick. On a normal day I wouldn't have everything prepared. I would be, you know, cutting all these little bits and bobs out, but obviously that would be very boring for you guys to watch. So that is finished. So I'm going to turn over and do the other page, which is going to be very, very different, just to give you an idea of the variety of how different my pages are. For example, this is the travel day page, and I actually used the pages out of an old passport in the background on this one, just because I thought that was quite a cool thing to put on travel day. And then I used like a serviette from a diner in the background of this page when we went to the IHOP. And Hollywood Studios I trimmed with the movie reel, just because I thought that was very appropriate for the movies. This one I didn't bother using the park map the whole way over, I just used it part of the way, and then a bit of diamante around the edges. Animal Kingdom I did like a floral, because it reminded me a little bit of the nature that surrounds you. Put a little wax stamp of the this is one thing I will say, whenever I'm doing Epcot I do miss having an appropriate wax stamp, because it's nice. I've got the Tree of Life here, which is perfect for Animal Kingdom, and again this one's got the park map, so this one's really busy. So that's just an example of two different Animal Kingdom pages that they look so different, and that's what I'm hoping to achieve here with the other side of this page. So yeah, when we went to Epcot, it was actually Festival of the Arts. So, and you get given these passports, show you all the food and things on your way around. And what I've done is I have cut this was on the cover, and I've cut it off, and I'm going to use that as the start of my page. Just because I think it's really cool and it's nice to add. When you're there for a particular festival, I think it's nice to give a little bit of a nod to the fact that you were there while something was going on. Festival of the Arts is absolutely incredible. I love it. All the pavement art and all the stalls with the beautiful pictures. I bought a beautiful black and white portrait of Walt, which I have on my staircase. Absolutely love it. So again, I've put sticky on the back of this, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop it right up to the edge at the top and let it run across the edge. So yeah, that's that on. These are the pictures that I've got of this particular day. So again, just look at where I think they might go. There's a beautiful picture here of the actual Festival of the Arts sign as you go into the park. One of Spaceship Earth. My daughter doing a little meet and greet. So I feel like something like this, it probably won't be exactly like this, but something like this will be where I would be placing my stuff, and I'll bob in a few little extras to fill in the gaps. So for these ones, I'm just going to round the corners off for the for the photos, just give them a quick... Okay, so all the pictures have had the corners rounded off now, just to make them look a little bit, I don't know, there's something about the angular edge that I'm not that keen on, the sharp corners, so I've just trimmed them and put them how I like them. So I'm just going to start peeling the back off again, get them all stuck in place, and then I can work around them with whatever else I'm going to add onto my page. Okay, so I've got all the pictures stuck in place where I want them, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill in some of the gaps with whatever seems fitting. So first of all, I had this little thing that I'd cut out of a map. So I'm going to put that on there. Now the other thing that I do sometimes as well is the map that I used to cover the back of the other page. There's just little bits of it left. So if I tear a little bit off, then I can use this. If you turn it upside down, you can see which part of the map you're getting, so you can choose a little bit of the map and just punch it out. Now I'm going to go the other way because I don't want it to be upside down. So yeah, just choose whichever bit of map you think is quite interesting. Give it a little punch, and then you end up with these lovely little Mickey shapes, which are perfect just for filling in any little gaps you've got on your page. I don't like to have too much plain space. I like it to all look a little bit more sort of cluttered and like there's a lot on it. Again, I've got these stickers, so another Spaceship Earth will be going on there. I've also got the words again, so again we'll have a look, see if there's anything that's appropriate. There's one here that says hold on tight to your dreams, and I'm just going to stick that one on there. There's one on here that says choose to be happy, so again I feel like that's quite appropriate, and we'll stick that maybe right across Spaceship Earth. So yeah, just adds a little bit of interest to the page. Also, I've got these pearls that I often trim the pages with. I've chose these ones this time because I feel like they go with Spaceship Earth, these lovely silver ones. So again, they're so easy, they're sticky backed, you just start at the corner and go all the way across with them. I think the silver, I don't know, it seems a little bit futuristic, which seems fitting for Epcot. Yeah, and what I like about these is you don't have to faff about with a knife or a pair of scissors. You can literally just break them off when you get to where you need to be. So yeah, I'm going to carry on and go all the way around the edge of the page with these. Okay, so now I've gone around the edge with the little silver pearls. I didn't go across the top here because I thought that's where the paint is, the colour that's coming out of this tube, and I didn't want to cover it up, so I've just left it like that. I'm still feeling like there's too much of the craft paper showing, so I'm going to have to go ahead and try and fill in this gap because it just drives me mad when there's too much on show. So again, I've got these stickers with little Mickey snacks on, which I feel like are always good little gap fillers. There's one there with a little coffee cup, and I must admit I do like to go into Starbucks every time I'm in Epcot and treat myself to a nice drink. Don't drink coffee, but in fact I don't drink much at all. I tend to just drink water, but I do like it the strawberry acai with lemonade when I'm on holiday, so that's my little treat that I get. So yeah, these little pearls are really handy. They come in different sizes, so they're ideal for if you want to just put a little hidden Mickey in pearls. So yeah, there you go, there's a little a little Mickey shape in the pearls, which I think is really cute. Again, I'm just gonna punch some more little things out of this map, some more little Mickey heads, just to add a little bit of interest. Actually, that needs to be that way up, doesn't it? And this is really nice because you can do these out of any sort of paper. There's some lovely little figments in the corner of these so I could punch a little figment character in a Mickey head also. Let me try and get that there. So if I do it like that, and then you've got him holding his little paintbrush aloft. Yeah, and these are cute. Like I said, these will just fill gaps, make the page look a little bit more busy, which is what I love. I like it to have as much interest as possible. This particular day in Epcot, obviously I didn't have any packaging, like food packaging and receipts, which are what I do sometimes include in my books, but on this particular day I obviously didn't save any. So yeah, I mean, if you guys make little memory books for your Disney memories, I'd be interested to know what while you're doing this, are you just doing it at peace with nothing else going on as well, or do you have music on? Are you like me? Are you watching Disney vlogs, put a Disney movie, some Disney music? I'd be intrigued to know what everybody else does. So there is, we've filled it in with all those. Not quite finished, so I'm going to go and have a rummage, see what else I can find, and I'll come back to you and see what I've come up with to fill in a few more of these gaps. Okay, so I found this old chocolate wrapper here, which actually is where I cut the Spaceship Earth out for the other side of the paper, and I've just realised it's got a really, really cute little picture of Figment. So again, I'm going to get my Mickey Mouse shaped punch. I'm just going to make it accessible to the punch, and I'm going to try and position him nicely in the punch so that I can have a nice Mickey head with Figment. That's actually come out really, really cute. I like that. And this is why I save just something as simple as a little chocolate wrapper that we got. I think I got that from the resort shop, like a set of chocolates, and each bar had icons and things from different parks in it. And that was the Epcot bar. So I'll be back. I'll see what else I can find. Okay, so I had a look in the little passport again that you get as you're going round, and I found some pictures of some of the food. Now this particular cake is one that we have tried. We did actually try on this day, but we didn't get a photograph of it. So that'll be ideal if I cut around that and include that on the page as well. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out now. So originally when I cut it out, I cut round the square bit of picture that I showed you, but actually when I tried to fit it in on the page it was a little bit too big, so I've cut round just the actual cake and I'm going to pop it in there. Again, just using this double-sided sticky. So handy, this stuff stops you from getting a huge mess, because I am quite a messy person. So there you go. So slowly, as you can see, we're starting to build up and fill in some of these gaps. Okay, so I found a few stickers that I could use. This one's got really nice colours in it, which I think will be perfect for Festival of the Arts. However, it is just a little bit chunky and a little bit big. So again, I'm going to use my Mickey head thing and see if I can position it in there so that I can still get a Mickey head. Okay, so that barely wanted to cut through, with it being quite a thick sticker, but I did manage to get it to do it in the end. So again, we've now got this lovely colourful little Mickey head, and I feel like that'll just finish off that top corner nicely. And here we have a little Mickey hat in purple. which I'm going to pop right in there. She's wearing purple, so kind of goes. And I've got this little tiny pink mini bow. So I think that one is going to go there. Okay, so that's both sides of our page. This is the first side that we finished, and in total contrast, this is the second side. Both totally different, but both equally as nice. I think I'm as pleased with both sides. This one, not quite as fussy as I would normally like it. This is why I normally put the park map in the background, just to add a little bit more interest. But that being said, I don't like all my pages to look exactly the same, so it is nice sometimes just to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and add them to my adventure book now, and I will probably be back next time to do either a Hollywood Studios or an Animal Kingdom. If you've enjoyed watching me do my little page for my adventure book, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see me do the next one, please feel free to subscribe. Thank you very much.